Okay, so I'll try and be as quick as I can. I've been asked by a few people about some of these mods that I've made to my Plus 3. First thing you'll notice is 2 IDE logical drives and that it's got the Plus 3E ROMs inside. We'll have a look inside in a second. Gotek drive as an external drive. I've also added to that on the back 2 switches. One of them is power. The other one, when you switch it on, it actually becomes the A drive and knocks out the built-in A drive. And if you switch it off, it behaves as a B drive. Also, I have some 720K disk images in there as well at the moment. Okay, so first things first. Let's see how that B drive behaves. Cat B. And it should be blank. 708K free, that's just one of the formats that I chose from that multi-formatter, which I think was also by Gary Lancaster. What you can't see is I've got a Wi-Fi board down here. I'll hopefully show that working, but let's have a look inside. Okay, so looking inside, simple 8-bit IDE, that's the processor that it goes in between. IDE CF card adapter. This one is a dual card adapter. Not easy to find those, but when you do, it's worth it because that gives you the drive 0 and drive 1. They're 4GB CF cards each, but because it's simple 8-bit, I can only see 2GB of each card, but that's still an enormous amount. There's the little Wi-Fi card plugged onto the printer port. You can't really see it, but under here there are the connections for, because this is like a board that would also do +2, +3. It says cassette under there, and you've got +12, +5 volt connections. I've taken lines from them to power the CF cards, and also a tiny little line that I've taken to a redundant connection on there, and that powers the Wi-Fi card. That's from Planet Retro. We'll talk about that in a bit. Other things that I've done, obviously it's got +3E ROMs. That particular flavour is to work with the internal 8-bit. I changed the R44 for about 680 ohms, I think, and that cleans up the RGB, so it's absolutely rock steady, the RGB. And then the other mod that I did was those sort of 9 resistors dotted. This is all available on the internet, but they're dotted around here, including between, I think, the emitter leg of that transmitter, and I've also soldered one underneath the board. About 9 in total, and that takes away all that distortion from the sound. Okay. Yeah, I should have also mentioned that these connections here on the 8-bit IDE connect up to that, and I've actually replaced the stock LED with a dual colour, so you've got blue and red, and it flashes blue whenever the IDEs are being accessed. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate those internal IDE drives. If I do cat tab, then you can see unit 0, and I've got all these files on here. That's in fact the Octocom workbench, which is very Amiga-like. I'll just do that again actually. Already loaded with thousands of games, and then there's the second drive, unit 1, free. I've got nothing on it at the moment, and just on about 1.8 gigabytes free on that. If I restart the machine, you can see that there's a drive A, B, C and M, obviously the memory drive, B being the Gotek at the moment, and C is highlighted there because that's the default drive, which means that if I just click the loader, then it will automatically boot the workbench off the first IDE drive. Like I say, it's very Amiga-like, which is just brilliant to see it on the Spectrum, to be honest. +3. Kempston mouse compatible interface. I've got a Genius mouse, and you can see that if I click on Classics A, just for example, and go on to the second page, one of my all-time favorites. I'm going to click now, and then you'll see Alienate loading. Notice the flashing blue and red because it's accessing the internal drive. And that's it. And a few pokes if you want them. Might as well cheat. And just to prove that it all works, there you go. Okay, a closer look at my Gotek drive. I had originally bought this to replace the 3-inch drive, but then I sort of felt bad that I'd lost the 3-inch drive, so I put it back, decided I'd have this as external. This is 3D printed case, if you've got your own 3D printer. I downloaded the model, I think from Thingiverse, and then just mounted it in there. I can't open it up, unfortunately, because I've just poly-welded the back just to keep it together. But basically, this is just a 5-volt power supply from typical USB with a power switch. And that little switch there just makes or breaks contacts. I don't know whether you can see that, between, I think, pin 11 and 12 on the Gotek. And when you switch it on, as I say, it becomes drive A, and it actually overrides the built-in drive A. Very, very handy for things that only work from drive A. And as I found out with my multi-face, when you press that button and take a snapshot, you're given no choice where to save it. It just saves to drive A. But now I can switch this Gotek to drive A with a 700 odd megabyte blank disk, and it will happily save the snapshot to the Gotek. Works perfectly. Okay, so 3-inch drive still working, new belt, so that should be working as good as new. Let's just prove that that is working. Cat A accesses the A drive, and those are the files on it, actually some snapshots there. And then if I cat B, and that catalogues the Gotek drive, and you can see that's 708K free, so that's quite a nice large disk image. Okay, so last thing to show is the Wi-Fi interface in action. I'm going to copy some files from my PC by Wi-Fi and put them on that Gotek image. Okay, so the last thing is this little Wi-Fi card from Planet Retro. When I bought it, it came with some software to allow you to get on the internet, access some of those Gopher sites, and you can download software and so on. But in conversation with Gary, who's developed software to go with this from Planet Retro, he's just in the process of creating a server to serve disk images that allows you to transfer to your +3. It plugs on the printer port, which I will do now, and turn it on. And he'd originally written the software to run from Linux, but I don't run Linux except for a flavour on my Raspberry Pi. And so when I was asking about whether it would be run on Windows, I tried the Windows subsystem for Linux, and it worked, which I will demonstrate now, hopefully, without getting too boring. But if I go to my Gotek drive, I've got the Wi-Fi software on there, so if I cat B, you should see it. There it is. I will load B and load disk, which should bring up a little menu. There you go. I will just demonstrate going on the internet, which would be option 1. So I've already configured this with my Wi-Fi ID, the router ID, and my encryption key, which you would have to do. But once you've done it, then it automatically loads that config file and will then connect. That little flash, it'll go green in a moment when it's connected. There you go, Wi-Fi connected. And now you can go on the internet, which is just astounding, to be honest. But just a quick demo. Go to ZX Spectrum section, and then the ZXDB game downloader, and there you go. And you can search for games, the pages and pages, search for games and download them to your, presumably either to your floppy disk or your Gotek, or it could be an IDE drive. So that's that in action. What I'm going to do now is load up the drive N, which gives you an extra drive, a network drive, and that should link to the server. So, right, first of all, load B again. I need to load up the drive N. Connecting. And connected. Now I do actually have an N drive now. Now I'm just going to change that for a blank disk image. That one. That's got about 700k free on it. If I do a cat B, you'll see cat B, and it should come up about 708k free. There you go. No files on it. Next step is to do a little bit of wizardry on the PC. This is Windows 11. Just pull that up like so. So in the PowerShell, you just need to start I've already installed the Windows subsystem for Linux. If you're running Linux, obviously you don't need to. There you go, that's running. I just need, and then over here I've got a folder, and it's got a disk image, collection 1 disk. It's got some games on it, and that's the command line server there, disk server. So you just run that, and then with an argument, the name of the disk image, and then it's serving, and then I should be able to access it and download files straight to my +3, which I'll demonstrate now. The first thing to do over here is just to change to that folder, which is on my E drive and in the driven. Okay, so I've just changed to the folder in the Linux environment, and now I'm going to run disk server and then the name of the disk that I want to serve. So we'll do disk server and collection 1 disk, I think. Collection 1 disk. And there you go, disk image opened, 40 cylinders, 1 head, 9 sectors, server listing on port 7650. My +3 should now be able to access that. Go back to it. There you go. And if I go to, so just for example, just to prove that it is working as a drive, I'll do cat n, and you should see a flashing border. There you go. And those are the files in the disk image that's on my Windows 11 PC. Just look over there, you can see that it's being accessed and it's served up various sectors and tracks. But what I can do now, and this is the absolute wizardry I think, is I can copy all of the files on that N drive from my Windows 11 PC. So I'll do N star, which is everything on there, to B. Amarote.0. So this means it's downloading across the Wi-Fi, and you can see that's being served up, and now it's writing to the Gotek B drive. You can see the little W flashing there while it's writing it. And when it's done, it's now getting the next file. And when it's all done, all that will have been transferred from my Windows 11 PC onto the Gotek drive, which I'll be able to run from there. I could have copied it from my PC to an internal IDE drive, of course, if I had wished to. At the minute, you can only download to your +3. Gary, I know, is in the process of developing it where you could actually send files back to your PC. But at the moment, just being able to download files is exceptionally useful. Although you can with a Gotek, obviously you can just stick that USB in your PC and do it that way, but that's less fun. So there you go. So that's all copied from the PC to the B drive, Gotek drive. Just demonstrate that will work. Restart. Catalog that B drive. There are the files. Load disk. And this disk image was, I wrote a little Windows program to use Tom Dolby's command line program to create disk images compilations. If anyone's interested in that as well, I've actually got a web page set up for that. But anyway, I'm going to choose Hydrofool. It's got nice music, and it'll demonstrate nicely not only this loading, but also the sound that's no longer distorted after those 9 resistors that were changed. There'll be a little bit of distortion on the screen because it's a snapshot. And there you go. Just choose C. Let you hear the music, no distortion. And of course the Rocksteady RGB after changing that R44. So there you go. That has run from the Gotek, which was downloaded by Wi-Fi from my Windows 11 PC. Amazing.